Hello. So just so everyone knows what the plan is going forward, we're all pretty much at the end of the day. And so we'd like to do a quick wrap-up session and basically a summary of what each group was sort of able to accomplish, if those people are still here. If not, we can, I think they've captured things in GitHub so that we can understand them. And then sort of next steps to identify those from sort of each group representative, if that sounds good. So with that, do you want to kick things off, or where do we want to?
Yeah, sure. We can go first again. Move this off the way so we can see that screen. We need you. We need you to report. Yeah, okay. So we finished effectively trying to collate what the minimal information framework work was, which was a attempt at what is the minimal metadata you need for drone data. We integrated that with the USGS web metadata framework, I guess. Yeah, USGS data schema, I guess. Next steps is to go in and think about the terms and is there an ontology that is appropriate for each of them, and then probably to start sharing it around and asking people, is this sufficient, broken, working, not? Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think it's just doing a little refinement so that it presents well, but the challenge will come when we're talking about integrating with the other things we talked about.
And some of that will come, I mean, we need to finish and publish as OWL and so forth before we can take forward.
I do have one question, Gene. So obviously, basically what we did is a crosswalk with a group of 3 people, and 3 people is not going to make a difference in regards to metadata. So you mentioned a few times now on kind of our roll-ups that this is going to be documented, briefed, and reviewed by somebody. I'm curious who that somebody is and when it's going to happen. I think the USGS is more than willing to make changes on our end regarding terminology and schema and be able to support this vision, but we don't want to have it change every time a louder voice comes into the room.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I don't think I understand quite how much alignment we need to do with these 2 other things first, but my intention is that the RDA working group would review it. And specifically in my mind, I know Cindy at USDA already has some of the, and so same as we've done with you, we need to align with them. And I would like to talk to NASA drone and see how well that aligns as well. Jens has left the room, but it would be good. Cicero has drone people what is his name? There's a remote sensing professor at Tasmania University who also, he's the only person I know who's got a big drone research group, but that's not institutional scale, and he spent 2 days with his team working out something. So there's key people I know of, and I think I've been doing this for long enough to know who in the world's done anything. So yeah.
Maybe so there's 2 parts of this, right? So there's the part that Sloan has basically given us some money to help get through for the next 2 years. And part of that is a series of these hackathons, right? We're going to be doing sorts of these activities, plus some implementation, right? And those feed into each other, right? So I would say anything that's been done anywhere in this room today is alpha 1 of what's going on. But the idea is also then to connect to, I mean, Landers is hosted in the OGC repository. So we hope to inform activities that are going on in OGC with respect to standards for coverages with respect to standards for exchanging observational data, for features, all these sorts of, so WFS 3.0, which will be coming out sometime, I guess, in the fall, hopefully. And so the idea is to feed back in those once things become stable, right? So the coverages document at OGC exists, right? And there's an example in our GitHub repo of how this would work. Then things are sufficiently stable that you can then use, I think, those components. And you can point to OGC, or you can point to ESEP, or you can point to these different organizations as this is where the communities are at for those particular components, right? So that would be my sort of, I guess, more long-winded answer. Now, prototyping, I mean, we certainly need help with use cases, prototyping, pushing the model, because that's the only way we can make progress is and find edge cases is, we start small, but we've made really good progress on this, but we also, once we make sure that this all works, and I think pretty confident it's going to work, then we need the next use case, which may be imagery. Then we need the next use. So this is sort of an iterative process. So does it make sense? Yeah, and that's September 12th, right? Okay. The only conflict, if it's not the 12th, later that week, there's a NSF thing that we have to go to. Well, I have to go to it. Okay. You're coming back for that?
I was coming back for them.
Oh, okay. Okay, that works. That's fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Definitely. And at that meeting, I want to talk to the manned aircraft group as well, the OGC man, whatever they call it. Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, thank you. Lewis, would you like to comment briefly on? Okay. Yeah.
You would be the better person to
Where we are is that we have separated the API within 4 current units or categories listed in that capabilities of the API. Capabilities also kind of extends to what capabilities I can infer from a collection capability or coverages. So essentially, if you want to navigate the API just at / with a landing page to the API, with a performance support OGC in particular or other standards that the API performs to, you have a description of all feature collections in this API, with feature collection being, in this case, coverage collection, collections of coverages. And then you can get similar information, more granular information about individual coverage collections themselves. You would create a coverage collection by posting an ID, which in this case we've mocked up, if you like, mission 01 or maybe mission timestamp or just a
able to get a grouping of coverages for a particular collection. We're able to get the individual coverage from a grouping of coverages for a particular collection. We're able to create a coverage, an individual coverage. Once an individual coverage has been created, of course we can get information on it, but we can also get domain set, range type, and range set. These are all breakdowns essentially of what the payload would be, where domain set has been for better use of terminology parameters that you have observed. The range type is the structure of how those parameters, essentially the data, the constituent parts of what that parameter is, and then the range set is the actual observation points of measurement, which again constitutes what that coverage itself is. How we'll be able to get these is by posting what the coverage ID is a parameter of your payload, so that will probably be like the request body. I would imagine it might be an XCF file, it could be whatever, it could be a JSON stream, whatever that is there. Finally, the items API, which we've added today.
And I worry about it.
Right. So there's a bit of a reservation here where items is already, and I can show an example on the left-hand side here.
So items is an overloaded term. It's part of the open API, to say the least, right? It's part of the open API spec.
Right. Here, for example, where we have the elements of this particular portion of the API, we're saying that we have a maximum number of them that we can post, and the number of them we can post is represented as an array, and within that array, the items are of type number. So whether or not our use of items within the API specification itself is going to lead to maybe linting or validation errors, I don't really know just now. But anyway, essentially what we're able to do is retrieve information about items themselves, and this is where we tend to bridge into the what you see self-effort here, where we're describing essentially items are rich information objects, which potentially represent reusable information objects at one point. So this could be even just out.
So for instance here, right, the example is drone 22. So the idea is that this is where you can then say that drone 22 represents a feature of interest. These are all the capabilities. So this defines essentially all the items that may be linked as part of the mission. Right? Now, part of this will feed into, I think there's going to be other endpoints here, like thing endpoint, which then defines a drone, and in principle there should be some self-consistency checks between those sort of two views of the world. But I think as a starting point, this gives you that if you have your mission information right now, I think that this model could accept it and shove things into a database, right? So
also accommodates the nature of the platform and sensors that can be packaged on that platform, and where items is not necessarily a concrete concept where these can change. But that's where you're saying that the conformances must be kept up to date with the implementation. Okay.
I think so. I mean, this of the thing. So I'm good with this. I think this is handled how they handle the data objects that come off of the drone in terms of reporting that. So that's where it creates. Or let me rephrase this. I think I'm good with it for some of the objects that come off of the drone that are covered. I think when you start to get into this right here, I'm a little bit worried about But for right now, I'm trying to see where the push points are, because this is sort of what the OGC group had envisioned. Yeah, well, no, this is, I thought that this was part of the hackathon in London. I thought this was what was determined there was this items thing from the discussion. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think this was, so this was some of the effort that the OGC group did in terms of the coverages. So if, when this falls over, and it probably will, right, then we then have a push point back to say, look, we have a use case where this doesn't quite fit, and we'd like to suggest maybe something else. So, which is what we can do, right?
And that basically, peer features, I believe, was an access. It was a way of adding endpoints which directly resulted in a retrieval of the observation data points. Access to data features. Or maybe they are.
I really hate that, because the problem with that is that then sounds like it's a features API that is a method to access a feature collection and, you know, information, metadata about a feature, which may be a building or whatever, which then has a GeoJSON representation and stuff like that. So I think we need to clarify what that part is.
So they you really put
Yeah, exactly. I think that could logically remove the okay,
well, comment, put it back, just, yeah.
then as well, we need to be able to post items, right? So that's the last endpoint that needs to be entered.
Okay.
And once that's been implemented, then I think this is ready for wider review.
Okay.
All right.
Lewis, we want to call it an extension. At the very top, we describe the entire, the text description. Rather than give it the API extension to the OGC coverage.
Yeah.
Rather than based on.
Based off.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Nicely done.
Is UXB the correct terminology?
UXS.
UXS? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I pulled UXB from the DoD terminology, so apparently that's. We know, that's why we moved last. Okay.
You guys
It could be a system.
Right, exactly, yeah. And well, and the way that we've defined it actually is a system, right? So, okay, so then I'll briefly comment on the very nerdy part of this, which was the ontology development. So what Pierre did in a nutshell, and this is in, so Joe, you were gonna upload it to the GitHub repo. Have not yet done that, but it will be the concept diagram will be there along with a RDF sort of data model. And so, yeah, I guess that we could see if his Mac Dell can. So this is what you started with, which was my little back of the envelope condensing of the work that was done at the vocamp. And it expanded into this, which is a much more formalized system. What I'll comment on is, because I don't really want to go through too much, right, is that previously I had all of these sort of has part, you know, body, has part platform, right? He's expanded that out and done the proper partness relationships. He also is linking everything logically through this idea of a mission. So that lets you tie together, as he said earlier, the sort of the parts that are the participant parts in a mission event, right? Which is, I think, kind of a nice result. And he also, we had a little bit of a discussion about the semantic trajectory, which has now been sort of expanded out, and it's also been aligned with some of the terminology from the upper parts of BFO and OBO. I think he actually pulled this from BFO. So this one-dimensional spatial region, these sort of much more formal definitions. So I think this is good, a good start. So we have an RDF version of this. I will go through and try to when I have a little bit more brain power, do a little bit of thinking through it. He actually also formalized this part that I said it moves through a medium. So you have a moving object moves through a medium. So he actually captures that in terms of environmental material. So, and then he's expanded out, obviously, unmanned vehicle, and then the whole essentially component parts of what make a particular vehicle, whether it's a UAV, a UV, UGV, UGS, unmanned ground system, whatever acronym at this point is appropriate. So. Oh, this. We can talk about this offline. Yeah. Okay. So with that, I think we need to probably wrap things up. Yeah. Well, so the thing is I don't know the Murology libraries or Murology ontologies that are part of BFO, because you have to really understand BFO. And anyway. Yeah, exactly. So he's much more familiar with the partologies because biosciences need those things. So as Jane will attest to, when I created this thing out, I said, Pierre will be there. He can flush this part out. So, all right.
I'll just close with saying thank you very much for everybody who's here, and you will get one more email from me. And then if you want to stay in contact, join Slack. Otherwise, I won't spam you. It's in the docs. It's you're on the Slack channel, aren't you? I think you are.
And thank you, everyone.
Yes.